Hey, let's start this thing all over. Is that better? Okay. Welcome to the Tuesday evening West Covina City Council of 4/16/19. And would everybody rise? Our invocation will be led by Pastor Samuel Martinez from the Amazing Love Ministry, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Castellanos.
We thank you for the privileges and the rights that we are able to exercise in this, our country, and tonight as we gather here regarding the affairs of our city. We remember the words of Solomon, who said wisdom is a principal thing. So we ask for wisdom, Father, for our mayor, city council, and all those that are in authority in our city. We pray for wisdom, Father, for our police chief and all our officers that are patrolling our city, Father. We pray for all the city administrators, Father, in our school districts, Father. And we thank you for granting them wisdom. We pray for wisdom to be granted also to all our business owners. Father, in all things, we remember the words of Benjamin Franklin, who said, "It is God who governs in the affairs of life." So, Father, we ask for your divine intervention. We ask for your divine guidance. And we thank you for this, Father. We pray for safety in our neighborhoods and safety in our streets, our schools to continue to be safe havens. We thank you and we bless you for this, Father. And Father, we remember the family of Mike Spence. And Father, we pray, knowing that you are the Father of mercies and the God of all comfort, that you comfort the family. And we pray for the comfort of all those in our city that may be hurting this evening, Father, for whatever reason. And last but not least, we remember our soldiers that are in combat right now, that are allowing us to exercise our liberties, Father. We pray for the protection of your angels around them. God bless America. God bless our city of West Covina. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please place the flag and put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos.
Here.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado. Here. Councilmember Shoemaker. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Wu.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. Since we didn't have a closed session tonight, there's nothing to report out of there. Mr. City Manager, any changes to the agenda?
This on. Here we go. Thanks. I'd like to ask that 2 items be removed from your agenda tonight. Item 1, the minutes, and item 5, approval of the agreement with Munitemps. If those could be taken off your calendar tonight, please.
Yes, no problem. I'm going to make a little change tonight in the way we're going to do things. We do have a couple of adjournments tonight that we would like to do, and I'd like to do those at the beginning of the meeting. So I'm going to start out with the first one that I'd like to do. I'd like to do the first adjournment in the name of Mike Spence. First of all, we're saddened by the recent passing of former mayor and council member Mike Spence. Mike served on the city council from 2013 to 2018 and was an advocate of fiscal conservancy and staunch opposer to increased taxes and a supporter of public safety. Mike represented the city in various legislative issues, and although we may have disagreed on many topics, I know that Mike always had the best interests of the community he grew up in. You know, Mike was on the West Covina Unified School Board for over 20 years. Even though Mike was fighting his own demons, I know he wanted the very best for all children. As far as politics were concerned, there wasn't anyone smarter than he was on our council. He would hold our staff to accountable for every detail that was on the staff report. Make no doubt about it, Mike read the whole agenda. He loved West Covina. I know where he will be missed, not only by his family, but many residents of West Covina. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, especially to his wife, his daughter, his son, and his parents. And Assistant City Clerk, will you please make notes of these adjournments tonight and send our condolences to the families?
I will.
And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Councilwoman Lopez.
I'd like to adjourn this one on behalf of Denise Alina Saldate. We have a picture of her. She was a beautiful, free-spirited 11-year-old girl who touched so many lives in a short time that she was here with us. As stated by students and staff at her vigil, she made every effort to bring joy to others, raise their spirits when they were down, and lend a helping hand when needed, all of which could be accomplished with her big, bright, contagious smile alone. Multiple students described her as their best friend who offered great advice. Despite the fact that she suffered from life-threatening allergies her entire life, she never let it bring her down. She was always happy, smiling to shrug off any disappointment that came her way and moved on to the next adventure. She was a born leader who enjoyed creating new things and educating others. For example, she shared her love for making slime from scratch on her YouTube videos and recently started a slime club at school. She also petitioned for umbrellas at a location on Edgewood Middle School's campus where there is lack of shade, and to date has raised $50 toward that goal. On the evening of April 4th, 2019, Denise began brushing her teeth with a new toothpaste. Within seconds, she was struggling to breathe and shortly after was in cardiac arrest. Denise was severely allergic to dairy products, in addition to other less threatening allergies. Unbeknown to her family, this particular toothpaste was made with milk. Despite the relentless efforts of multiple emergency medical personnel, Denise was ultimately declared brain dead due to the amount of time her brain went without oxygen. This incident closed up her airways so quickly, it is clear that the only way to prevent this type of tragedy from happening again is to raise awareness. Her family implores those who are aware to share their knowledge and inform those who are unfamiliar with anaphylaxis of the seriousness of this condition. They hope that in sharing her story, families, caregivers, school staff, and people in general will take this condition more seriously and that all items will be checked for ingredients, even those that may seem irrelevant. West Covina lost a beautiful child, but gained a beautiful angel. She continues her legacy of love, compassion, and generosity through the miracle of organ donation. This is absolutely, without a doubt, something that she would want to do. It has been confirmed that her heart was placed with a 9-year-old child, and her lungs will be used for research. No word yet on her kidneys and liver, which were also successfully retrieved. She was determined to change the world, and so she shall. Although her body will soon be gone, her legacy will live on, and her soul is forever in our hearts. In loving memory of our precious angel, may she rest in eternal paradise.
You guys join me down here? Thank you. Would I please have the family please come up? I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to go ahead and read it, okay? You can hold it. I have a copy, so I won't have to let you read it. Well, it's the City of West Covina, a resolution of commendation presented to Monique Altamirano. Whereas the City Council and the City of West Covina takes great pleasure in recognizing Monique Altamirano and her courage and love in being an organ donor for other children in need. And whereas Monique lost a beautiful daughter, Denise Alina Saldate, on April the 6th, 2019, to anaphylaxis disease at 11 years of age. And whereas my daughter Denise was a loving daughter, sister, cousin, niece, and a friend, and with such amazing personality, she had a beautiful smile that would light up the world. Warmest hugs, so friendly and easy to talk to. She was a very interesting, confident, and beautiful inside and out. Through all of her struggles with allergies, she always remained in good spirits. Her perspective on life was to always look on the bright side. Whereas Monique's daughter, in the spirit of the loving, selfless conqueror that she was, and her goal to make a difference in the world, will live on in the form of organ donations as she saves other children's lives. Whereas Monique's hope is to help spread awareness and continue Denise's dream of the changing of the world. And it's now therefore be resolved by the City Council and the City of West Covina that Monique Altamirano is to be recognized on her courage and love of being a donor and a gift of life.
Denise's father and I are so we're blessed to be her parents because she really was an angel on earth. She just wanted everybody to be happy. She just wanted the world to be happy, and we really want to thank the community of West Covina. You know, initially I really wanted to reach out and thank the fire department. Oh God, they've always been amazing with her. But with this particular episode, she brought together multiple entities, and the police officers came, and they were so great. They closed down the street for her, and the community, strangers. You know, I wasn't born in West Covina, and I'm going to be honest. It was really hard for me to leave East Los Angeles because that's all I knew. West Covina seemed so far away. But I thank God that I'm here now. She was beautiful. I wish you all could have met her. She was just sunshine. She really was. And so many goals, so many of her goals we want to finish. The most important one right now is to raise awareness. There's no other way that we could have saved her unless we were already in a hospital when this happened. It just immediately cut off her airway. There was no way, no matter how hard everyone tried, there was no way. The only way to prevent this is to make everyone aware of the seriousness of the condition. You know, sometimes I would, is there cream in that oatmeal at McDonald's? And people, they get annoyed. And we really need to let them know that it's serious. We're not being picky. We're not, these are lives that are at stake. And unless people understand that, we're going to lose more lives. And the only way to change that is to make sure that everybody knows that this is serious. We need better labeling on products. We need people to understand that this is not just a rash. It breaks my heart that Denise had to lose her life. For us to step up and try to make change in her honor. But that's absolutely what we intend to do, because that's the only way that this will make sense. So thank you all for all of your support.
Thank you for your bravery for being here tonight. Okay, we have one presentation to put here tonight is for the Small Business Week. And would I have Paulina Morales please come forward?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Okay. So tonight we are announcing and proclaiming National Small Business Week here in the city of West Covina from May 5th to May 11th. This is our 4th year hosting a Small Business Week program in the community. This year we are going to be combining our award ceremony with our mixer, so we're going to have an event on Wednesday, May 8th. Here at City Hall, and it's going to be a panel presentation with SCORE. And then on Thursday, we're having a mixer with GWC, and it's the award ceremony. So right now, we are accepting nominations, so you guys can pick and nominate your favorite small businesses in the community. We have Small Business of the Year, Women-Owned Business of the Year, and Veteran-Owned Business of the Year. So you guys can nominate a local small business under one of those categories up until Friday. And then on May 9th, we are going to be announcing the winners at the mixer. I have flyers here if anyone's interested. It's also available or more information on our website. So if you have any questions, let me know. But hope to see you guys at the event, or hope that you guys nominate someone. Thank you.
Okay, this proclamation, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it says whereas. But the proclamation is for National Small Business Week, and I want to present it to Paulina Morales.
Thank you.
Thank you, girl.
Thanks.
We have, I think I'm going to go back. Now, may I please have Lisa Mayo come forward, please? She's not, no. It's a presentation. You're putting on a presentation, aren't you? Oh. Well, yeah. It goes.
Pay attention, boys. He's close on the range. The next goes better than first thing. That's by
He leaned toward Ralph, and he whispered, "They used to call me Piggy." Ralph shrieked with laughter. He jumped up. "Piggy! Piggy!" Des, listen. Let's go see the parents.
My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me.
Oh, excuse me.
Well, man, what's your problem?
Hey, I'm sorry.
Why don't you watch where you're going?
My radio.
I don't care. I'll smack those glasses right off of your face. How about that?
Please, I don't want any problem. I really don't want any problem. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay?
What are you looking at? You got something to say? That's what I thought. Homeless, please help. God bless. God doesn't care about you. Really? Why are you homeless then?
Let's go over. You guys got anything? How you doing, sir?
Don't give him money. This guy's a loser. Just like this one.
Hey guys, why don't I meet you out back, all right?
What? You got something to say?
Hey man, I don't want any trouble.
that. Drop it! You're under arrest. Roll the fire department. I got a victim down in the park. Multiple injuries, head injury. Hey, I'm a doctor. Really? Seriously? Prison for the rest of your life? Are you his friend?
Yes.
He's hurt bad. You call his mom and his dad right now. We need them out here.
Okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
I'm looking for my son, Robert.
Robert?
Medea?
Medea? Okay. He is in room 24 down the hall.
Excuse me, are you Robert's mother?
Yes, doctor.
Nice to meet you.
That was my son.
I'm sorry, he's not gonna.
What? No! Please, doctor, no! Where is he? Where is he?
You can go see him. He's in the window right there.
My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. When I see there's no way out, my God is with me faithfully. My God is always good to me.
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 Even when I don't understand His master plan, I will trust Him endlessly. My God is always good to me. My God is and always good to me. When I'm in despair and my soul cries out to God, I know His love's surrounding me. My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. As I lay down at His feet, asking Him to see me through, I know God's love for me is true. I may not understand the reasons why, but I know His love surrounding me. My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. It takes blind faith to see through, and miracles do
Des, listen. If we do one random act of kindness a day, we can change the world. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. When I see there's no way out, my God is with me faithfully. My God is always good to me.
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 Even when I don't understand His master plan, I will trust Him endlessly. My God is always good to me. My God is and always good to me. When I'm in despair and my soul cries out to God, I know His love's surrounding me. My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. As I lay down at His feet, asking Him to see me through, I know God's love for me is true. I may not understand the reasons why, but I know His love surrounding me. My God is always good to me. My God is always good to me. It takes blind faith to see through, and miracles do come true. So I stand on His word of truth, for my God is always good to me.
This video had only one intention, and that is to bring a change in our world and to bring kindness. And how can we do that if we didn't start with our own children? So we have to start from the bottom up. So I'd like to call all the people, some of the people here that helped me get this, because it takes a team effort. And it took me several years. I wrote this song several years ago. But I finally decided that I had to get the right singer, and it wasn't working until finally the right singer came along who had the right voice for this. So rather quickly, I would like to call Dario Antapara. He was our director of photography. Ron Johnston, he was our editor. Adrian Sakos, she was our lovely older lover. Vanessa Liu, she's from Edgewood High School. Come on, sweetie, come up here. Thank you so very much. I actually had 25 children, teens, and young adults that came in here. Natalie Zelaya, she's from Holland Crest Middle School. From Orangewood Elementary School, it's Samantha Lopez and Raymond Lopez. My cute little young actors, they were amazing. Rachel Ramirez, who played the nurse. Mr. Bob Baker, He was one of our doctors. David Sifling, who is really an officer, so he happened to come and be a part of it. David Lee, who I've known for several years. Dr. Sam Zapata, who's a clinical psychologist, and he decided to be one of our runners. This is just not even half of the people that were involved in this production. And it was actually a couple of months, and it was a 2-day shoot. Just don't be afraid to be next to me, guys. I'm like, good. Liliana, where are you, sweetie? Where are they? Come on, sweetie, get up here. You came in late. Liliana, where are you? Did you come in late? Come on. Yeah, Liliana's in 3 commercials right now. I'm jealous. Get over here, sweetie. Liliana, come over here, please. Liliana played the mother, and can you imagine trying to be this emotional for several scenes? And to be able to do that, it's like, whoa, woman, you took the cake. So anyway, I want to thank you so very much for allowing me to show this presentation, and it is basically just to be able to teach. The message is about kindness. If we do one random act of kindness a day, we have the power to change the world. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
So can I go?
I would like to now call down the South Pasadena Governing Board member and City Councilman, Mr. Michael Cossetti. I can never pronounce Michael's last name. Let me turn your mic on for you. There you go, sir. You got it.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm your representative. You're serving on the South Coast Air Quality Management District, one of the largest air districts in the United States. And do I point there or where? Thanks for your help, staff. Mayor, council members, and people in the audience, this shows you the 4 counties that comprise the South Coast Air District. It's LA, Orange, San Bernardino, and Riverside counties. Before the 70s, there was 4 separate air pollution districts in this area. Each county had one, but they weren't working together. So in the 70s, a bright congressman, he was then state Assemblyman Jerry Lewis from the east side over there, said, let's pull everybody together, and it became one. 10,000 square miles, 17 million people, 12 million vehicles, and the biggest port gateway in the United States. We have 42 air quality monitors throughout the basin. The closest one here, if you ever have concerns about the air quality, feel there's odors. The closest one's in Azusa, but we can also have inspectors come out here for you. Next. Here's the issues with air quality. You've got these causes of pollution. In the top left are the freeways, the light-duty, medium-duty vehicles. Top right, freight transportation on the trains, diesel coming from those trains. The bottom middle right is the ocean-going vessels that bunker fuel in the ocean and when they port, but we're trying to change that now with what we call cold ironing, which is electrification at the ports. Bottom right, diesel, particulate matter from heavy-duty vehicles, off-road construction equipment and manufacturing. Next. Here's what's really concerning. Here's why I'm so passionate about it, and all of this should be, because all that pollution from our cars, from the trucks, from the airplanes, from lawn equipment, everything, spray booths near you, auto repair dealers, it causes severe impacts to children, to people with compromised immune systems, very elderly people, all of us actually. There's cancer risk, respiratory diseases, and right now we're doing studies at Cedars-Sinai and right off the freeway at Irvine, exposing rats and mice, which are, interestingly enough, 99% the same as our body anatomically. When I asked the neurosurgeons doing this study, and they found out that those rats that are exposed within about 400 feet of a freeway, there's a change in their molecular structure consistent with people with Alzheimer's disease now, which they never knew before. Next. There's a lot of money available to do something about it, though. This is that Volkswagen settlement of nearly $500 million. It's run by a trust, but each state got a lot of money. We've got $420 million in California. Tomorrow, in your packet, there's a notice, and you or your staff can go at the AQMD headquarters right here in Diamond Bar, how to access that money. There's criteria, and the experts will tell us because we're not even sure. But it's for cities, school districts, universities, hopefully some businesses, how to get that money. There's categories. Looks like the couple would be for cities like transit, school buses, shuttle buses. Towards the bottom, the second from bottom, light-duty, zero-emission vehicles, infrastructure for cities, charging stations, et cetera. A lot of money. Send staff there to find out how all of us can access it. Next. A lot of programs we have for you. I'm here today to give money away, to tell you how you can access it. You're working with your staff and our staff right here with Rainbow. On the left is our Carl Moyer. If you go down about 3 or 4, it says public agency utility vehicles. You ever want to turn over some of your vehicles now during the budget season, Public Works? Instead of buying a diesel's expensive, it pollutes the most, impacts all of us. You can get another vehicle, and we'll pay through Carl Moyer the added cost of going to compressed natural gas, which is a lot cheaper fuel, better on your budget, and 90% cleaner. They're even producing now electric type of Public Works vehicles, Mr. Mayor. On the right, that program just finished out Prop B over $485 million. Next. There's some great incentive programs on the left for all your residents and yourselves. We've got $9,000 available for any individual that qualifies by their income. They can purchase a cleaner hybrid, electric, compressed natural gas vehicle. They can get $9,000 worth of transit passes for years, electric vehicle chargers. Just apply for this program, and you can get that possible money, www.replaceyourride. On the right, this is for a school bus program. We've given away $280 million in the last 17 years. And then last year, it's the first time we just went from compressed natural gas to now offering battery electric school buses. They're out there. They're just as good and even better than the compressed natural gas, which is kind of a transitional fuel. Next. Here's another program for your residents and yourselves, mayor, council members, mayor pro tem. We'll give you up to $500 to change over, or give you for a charging station at your house. Depending on your income, you'll at least get $250. If you qualify income-wise, you'll get up to $500 to pay, and they go anywhere from $400 maybe up to $1,000 for a charging station. Next. We've got an incredible program. Tony and Lloyd remember Dan Mabe when you were in Harbin. Dan couldn't come tonight. We usually do a demonstration with his equipment, but there's a number of manufacturers out there. I'm not sure who cuts your grass in the city. If you have Public Works people, we hire an outside contractor, but we put it in a contract that they had to convert over to electric equipment. Our signature park took 2 years, another 2 more years, the entire city. So about a year and a half ago, our entire city is now maintained by only electric, no more gas, diesel, oil. All the parents, the families that have their kids there, the people like ourselves that walk our pets. Not only that, it's cheaper because you don't have to pay gas, oil, diesel. You plug in. If you have solar, it basically costs you $0. So we're going to give you big money on this. So one example is the bottom. You take a leaf blower like the guy in the right bottom. Backpack is electrical. He's got the leaf blower right there. It goes for an hour or 2. They just change out the batteries, which it can plug in anywhere, and we'll give you basically half off, or two-thirds off. We'll come out, provide a demonstration to your staff. We'll bring the equipment, see if they like it. It's like the electric cars. 4 or 5 years ago it was basic. Now it's really improved. Next. Now we have one for you. I did this program 10 years ago. I turned to my old gas-polluting lawnmower and got the electric one when they were, again, the infancy stages. Now they've evolved, so it's really exciting. Great stuff. You just turn in your old gas lawnmower. You go on our website. You pay. You go buy an electric one, and we give you anywhere from $100. If you look at it, it's tough to see, but in your packet, anywhere from $150 to $200 to $250 off. State-of-the-art, all-electric, cordless lawnmower. Never have to pay for gas again or go to a gas station and pour the oil and gas in there. Next. Your city, proud of your city, Mr. Mayor, council members, you've invested a lot, and a lot of your companies have. This is a heavy-duty diesel vehicle where they've applied for grants from the AQMD, a lot of your residents maybe, and have gotten over $545,000. They can convert to CNG. We'll give them 40 to 50 grand to convert to compressed natural gas. Long-term save them money and save air pollution. Now there's battery vehicles out there too. Next. This is what your city's done, and which is great. You've converted over a lot, and Foothill Transit has, to more compressed natural gas and electric buses. This is money that's every city gets, depending on your population, from your car registration. Next. And you've got in your account, based on your population and your car registration, Mr. Mayor, and you get more money every year, $664,000. You can use it specifically for reducing mobile source pollution. You can buy CNG vehicles, electric vehicles, heavy duty, medium duty, public works, city fleet vehicles, people to drive around, or infrastructure, in building longer, bigger CNG infrastructure, electric charging stations, purchasing vehicles. That money will go up lot of money every year, so use that money wisely. As the technology improves, you'll save a lot of money. just not having to buy gas. We were changing over our vehicles, a lot of our shuttles. We're saving $50,000 just on our shuttle program. We're transitioning all our vehicles slowly to compressed natural gas or electric. Next. Just stuff on the website, mobile apps and stuff like that. And one more. And I'm always there if you want to call me. If you ever want to have a tour, bring a business group up, a community group up to the Air Quality Management District. We'll do a tour of our laboratories, our facilities. You can drive our compressed natural gas, electric, fuel cell vehicles. We just got a new one that the Korean company put out called a Kona. So we're welcome to entertain any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
Thank you, council members.
Next. Next, oral communications. And if you filled out a yellow card and you present it to our assistant city clerk, she'll call your name up. And if you have it, please fill one up and give it to her, and she'll call you in order. Thank you.
I'd like to call forward Chris Miller, followed by Elsie Messman and Phil Kaufman. If you could please line up in the middle. Thank you.
So one of the things that Mike Spence told me is to cut down the amount of things I talk about at a council meeting. So in honor of him, I'm going to only talk about two things. One is number 3, I'm in favor of it. When I first saw it in Pomona, and at the time I didn't see any homeless people congregating near freeways or anything, I support that measure of putting in the signs around the city for no panhandling. And then on SB 751, I'm against it because of the terms that it doesn't state where the monies are going to. One, the public funds. One is, where are the funds coming from? All of Los Angeles County? Because it seems like other cities are great at moving people into San Gabriel Valley, and more specifically West Covina. But overall, 3% are down. We've been up like over 300% over the last couple of years. So, really it's a area issue. And if everyone, the overall population is going down, but we're going up, the other areas need to pitch into that for the public funds. Number 2 is there's a lot of strikeouts. Some of it is, who are the funds going to help? They took out veterans and left it open-ended. My question is it going to undocumented? Is it going to families? Is it going to, who doesn't make it up? And also with public funds, there should be reporting. We should know who the funds are going to, the type of people, and so we can make informed decisions. And actually, how much of the funds are actually going to housing the homeless? With Prop H, we have how much money being generated and how many, people are getting employed and paid for Prop H, yet how much is actually solving issues? It seems like, it's a shell game, and who can get paid the most? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and everyone here tonight and watching at home. My name is Elsie Messman, a resident of West Covina. First of all, I would like to say a few words regarding our friend Mike Spence. It was a sad day for a lot of us, but he will be remembered for his wisdom and his sense of humor. I realize not everybody is in agreement with me, but saying nasty things to him, about him, didn't help the situation. His situation could happen to anyone, but I don't believe in kicking someone when they are down. Mike, you are in good hands now, and so they can't degrade you anymore. You will be missed, and I want to wish their family well. Now, Article number 7, that's the amendment to the City Engineering Service. Before you approve $50,000, maybe we should be checking on the services and what the $50,000 is going to do for us. Has staff considered looking at other engineering services in our area to give all of the work to one company, and then they think they can have complete control and that City of West Covina is an easy catch? I have given you some warrants list, and it doesn't show much transparency and nothing about the oversight. Let's get some of our staff, the butts going, and start looking for some changes in the contract so we can have other contracts besides this one for city engineer. I realize we don't have a city engineer anymore, but I think this company is getting carried away. Happy Easter to you all.
After Phil Kaufman, if I could call up Christy Heng, Herb Redholz, and Jim Krivich.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank Councilmember Shoemaker for supporting the discounted fares for senior citizens on our shuttle, which is item 4 on today's consent calendar. When I spoke about this a couple of meetings back, I mentioned that West Covina is one of very, very few cities in the entire area that don't provide a discount for seniors on their shuttle services. The only other one was El Monte, but they only charge 50 cents for everyone. But I would like to see that the discount also apply to disabled persons as well as seniors. CARA, C-A-R-A, is the California Alliance for Retired Americans and is an official affiliate of the National Alliance for Retired Americans. It's a 501c4 nonprofit organization that unites seniors and retired workers and community groups to win social and economic justice, civil rights, and a better, more secure future for seniors. CARA's purpose is to educate and inform its members, the public, elected officials about issues that affect the well-being of us older adults. CARA includes over 275 affiliated groups and serves almost 1 million California citizens. We hold educational forums, town halls, rallies, direct meetings with key decision makers. We do legislative and administrative advocacy and support or oppose ballot measures that affect seniors. The San Gabriel Valley branch of CARA will be holding a fundraiser on May 4th, Saturday, May 4th, from 11 a.m. To 3 p.m. at 409 North Cedar Drive in neighboring Covina, 409 North Cedar Drive. For a minimum $10 donation, there'll be a taco truck featuring all different types of tacos, unfortunately none of them vegan, other side dishes and drinks, and there'll be a program featuring Dr. Paul Song, President of Physicians for a National Health Program, who will be speaking about universal single-payer health care and Medicare for all. CARA does tremendous work in supporting issues for seniors across California, and each branch tries to promote at least 1 or 2 fundraisers a year, and this is going to be a great event in just a couple of weeks in neighboring Covina, as I said, 409 North Cedar Avenue. I left some flyers out on the table in front, and we invite council members and members of the public to come, have some good food, hear a very important talk by Dr. Song, and help support CARA and the work that we do for all of California's older citizens.
Hello, Honorable Mayor, council members, and audience. Thank you for giving me this chance. My name is Christy Hong, and I'm the program coordinator for the International Youth Fellowship. I'm here tonight to invite you to 2 events coming up. First, we have our 3rd annual IYF World Leaders Meeting in Long Beach, followed by the Easter Cantata musical that will be performed by the world-renowned and award-winning Gracias Choir this Sunday, April 21st, which is Easter Sunday. I've passed out invitations and flyers in front of you, and also I emailed you these invitations in the morning as well. This choir is very special, and we want to work together to actually bring them here to West Covina in the future as well. You know, they have touched tens of thousands of people both in LA and Long Beach. Just in the past 5 years through the Easter Cantata and also the Christmas Cantata that has been held each year. This choir started out in 2000 with just 15 members, but now 19 years later, with their 150 members, they've become the best choir, winning the top choral competitions in the world. So again, we really hope to partner in the future with this city and to bring the Gracias Choir here. IYF, which is hosting this event, is a nonprofit organization that builds a solid foundation for leadership and global mindedness for youth locally and around the world. The Easter Cantata is the musical program within the IYF. Globally, we are implementing our mindset education curriculum on a vast scale with the cooperation of local, regional, and national governments. Also, educational institutions and correctional systems. So we would like to share our vision for our programs with you, as well as exploring our ways to partner with you. Also, we'd like to invite you to Korea this July for our World Leaders Forum. So in the meantime, coming up this week, I really hope that you could consider attending our World Leaders meeting. That's again this Sunday at 5 p.m. on April 21st at the Westin Hotel in Long Beach. I would love to discuss your attendance after this meeting. And also, if anyone here is interested in the beautiful musical concert, the Easter Cantata, I would be happy to let you know more about it after the meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you for this time.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Two quick topics. The first one is the late Mike Spence. It's kind of tough to say that sentence. You know, I knew Mike for many, many years, and he and I rarely agreed politically. He's on one side, I'm on the other, but I always I had great admiration and respect for his acumen when it came to state and local government, and his penchant for sound public policy. West Covina is going to miss his voice, and of course his family's going to miss his love. But I just wish he rests in peace, because for him the struggle is finally over. Changing gears to a different topic, and that topic is painting house numbers on our curbs. You know, for years, we'd get knocked on the door. Somebody's there saying, hey, we'll paint your address on your curb for $10 or whatever, $15. That hasn't happened in a long time, and I noticed that the numbers on my house and my street are completely gone. No one has come around to do that, and as I travel around in different neighborhoods, you know, on the Planning Commission, I noticed the same thing around the city. Those numbers are gone. And, you know, that's a public safety issue, especially at night. You know, if the fire department or police department, you know, needs to find your house, the numbers are simply not there. So I'm here to kind of find out, what do we do? What is the solution? Is there a service? Is there a number? Can we paint it ourselves? I mean, I kind of miss those guys. They kind of bothered us before, knocking on the door looking for $10. But now I wish they'd come knocking on the door, because those numbers are plain gone. So any direction you can let us know, I'd appreciate it, because we need to get that done. Thank you.
After next speaker, Jim Grivich, I'd like to call up Jerry Potras, followed by Lisa Mayo, and followed by David Williams.
I'm Jim Grivich. Tonight, I'd like to speak in tribute to Mike Spence. I actually knew Mike Spence for a long time, and I think everybody knows that he was a fierce advocate for public safety in government. He felt that other activities that the government did were sometimes kind of useless, kind of wasted, and he made that point of view known frequently at the city council. And I remember clearly one speech he made about, why are we building a bikeway when nobody rides their bikes? What's this all about? And I said, that's quintessential Mike Spence. I don't think everybody was aware of what bothered him most about government, though. As I said earlier, he believed that the purpose of government was public safety, and he thought it was horrible that the government funded the slaughter of 1/3 of the new babies in this country. He was kind of beside himself. He spent much of his life trying to change that activity and was unsuccessful. In many respects, his life was an attempt to preserve what he felt were the values of this country, and yet he felt that many people didn't support those values anymore, and it was deeply distressing to him. And I think it's most telling, and perhaps the most significant part of all, that as his parting communication to all of us, and I'm not sure very many people are aware of this, apparently just a couple hours before he died, he made a post by a person who I consider California's political philosopher. His name is Victor Davis Hanson. And the title of the post was, "California Has Become a Cannibal State." And I'd like to read some things from that document because I think it explains a lot about what Mike Spence thought about. California has had a top marginal income tax rate of 13.3%, the highest in the nation. About 150,000 households in a state of 40 million, that's about 4% of the people, pay half of the taxes in the state of California. California recently raised gas taxes by 40% and now has the second highest gas tax in the country. California's state sales tax of 7.3% is the highest in the country. Despite these very high tax rates and the continuing increase, the state is always hungry for more. The state senator from the city of San Francisco has introduced a bill that would create a new California estate tax. In essence, it's a death tax of 40% of all wealth greater than $3.5 million paid to the state upon death. Given the soaring value of California properties, this new state tax will force children to sell the family home and the family farm they just inherited to pay the bills. So, even with more and more California taxpayers who actually pay these bills fleeing in droves for low tax and no tax states, what do we get for this? What really irks California taxpayers are the shoddy public services that they receive in exchange for such burdensome taxes. California, by all objective measures, is near the bottom for schools, near the bottom for infrastructure of all of the states in the country. San Francisco ranks first among all California cities for crime. Despite these enormous taxes on the upper middle class, the super rich in the state don't pay any taxes because they manage to influence the legislature to make sure they're exempt. California is waging a war on the upper middle class, which lacks the numbers of the poor and the clout of the rich.
Jim, I'm going to give you another 20 seconds, okay?
What is Sacramento's message to those who combine to pay half the state's income taxes and have not yet left California? Be gone or we will eat you. That was Mike's final message to us.
Jerry Patras, West Covina resident. Mike Spence's death is a tragedy to his family, to his friends, and to West Covina. I am not here to comment on Mike's passing. I am here to comment on how a handful of West Covina staff and officials wrongly handled the news of his death. Mike was a prominent public figure. His death would make news. My concern is that the news of his death was being informally communicated and distributed by email before his family was in the process of completely being notified. Mike's daughter and later his wife posted heart-wrenching accounts on the pain that rumor mill caused when it started before the family notification process was completed. Here's one example I saw. At 8:16 a.m., 4 hours or so before a Facebook post by San Gabriel Valley Tribune reporter Christopher Yee, who did a good job, I'm not complaining about Chris, indicates the police had notified the family. The email I am giving you was distributed and subsequently forwarded to others, by others to a large number of people. That should not have happened. Yes, Mike was a prominent public figure. A few hours for the family to notify other family members wasn't too much to expect before the staff, rumor mill, and political grandstanding kicked in. When my former employer botched a death notification, we developed a policy and procedure to avoid such a repeat. That's needed. Thank you.
Lisa Mayo.
Mayor Johnson, councilwomen and men, I come here only to speak about Mike Spence. Because I know his mother, because she's in the West Covina Women's Club. I know his family, his sisters. I don't know how to express my grief with this, but I can say that I have been praying for him. And so I just want to say a prayer for him here. And if you don't mind, I'd like to take at least a minute to do that. But I need your permission because this is a free country. My kind and heavenly Father, I come to you giving you praise, glory, and honor, Lord, for loving us as much as you do. You know the moment we are born what our destiny is going to be. You give us challenges so that we can overcome them, but you never stop loving us. So at this moment, Father, I just ask that you bless Mike Spence. And Father, help us to understand what causes us to have some weaknesses that we cannot possibly control. So help us to understand, Lord, and to give us opportunities to have wisdom so that we can make changes in this world. For only you can help us, Father, by giving us wisdom. So bless his family, his mother especially. And bless this council that has to make changes for all of us. I love you, my Father, and I thank you for allowing me to know you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call up David Williams, followed by Henry Ruiz and Bill Elliott.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you very much for your time today. My name is David Williams. I've lived in the city of West Covina for 16 years, and I've lived on West Michelle Street, which is between California and Glendora. I wanted to bring to your attention an issue that we're having on that particular street and explain to you how we've attempted to deal with this, dealing with the city of West Covina. The Michelle Street stretches approximately 1,623 feet. That comes out to 180 yards, almost 2 football fields. Since living there, probably in the first 6 months, the one imperfection, and we have very few on West Michelle Street, that I noticed was a lot of speeders on that street. There's a slight bend in a roadway right at Sandy Hook, between Sandy Hook and Duff. When vehicles are coming eastbound from California, they tend to travel at a rate of speed that by the time they pass Sandy Hook, they're actually on the other side of the roadway. So back then, numerous neighbors and I had conversation when I was trying to get more educated about this particular problem, and they explained to me that this had been an ongoing issue on Michelle Street. Now, I'm sure the first thing you're thinking is, did we do enforcement out there? Was West Covina doing enforcement? Well, I can't even begin to tell you how much enforcement we've seen the West Covina Police Department do. We're big supporters of our police department, but we honestly at this point feel like that this is no longer a police issue, and we need to get out of the habit of throwing the police department at every single issue that we have, when in fact it is going to be a responsibility of the city to change the environment in order to not drain our resources by trying to have a traffic officer out there on a regular basis, which isn't going to happen. Michelle Street, though we're proud, we know that we're not the only street in West Covina. But if we were, imagine how nice that would be, right? With that said, we attempted to collect signatures approximately 4 years ago. So we collected signatures amongst ourselves and we submitted it to the city. At that particular time, and you have to excuse me because I don't know the name of the individual, my understanding is that the person who is responsible for traffic engineering received our complaint, received the letter as well as the signatures. We were basically told at that point that that was not acceptable and that he, in fact, would have to send those things out. He did so, but it was done in a manner, if you ask me, where he already made it very clear to us he wasn't interested in having speed bumps there. And the conversation that I wasn't privy to that he had with my neighbor was that the city of West Covina and or himself was not a proponent of speed humps, and excuse me, it's not speed bumps, it's actually speed humps. Wasn't a proponent for that because vehicles would get airborne upon striking them. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not sure when the last time you heard of a vehicle going airborne when it's gone over a speed hump. To date, I have not seen or heard of anything like that happening. If it did happen, my question would be, whose responsibility is it to drive at a safe speed on a residential street, and that when there are speed humps present, or even if they're not, you should be driving safe, but if they are present, whose responsibility is it to drive over it carefully so that your vehicle isn't launched through the air or airborne? Baldwin Park, Covina, and La Puente all have speed bumps or speed humps in their city. We recently went to the Traffic Commission, who, by the way, has their meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm not sure what your schedules are. I have a full-time job. I have 3 kids to take care of. And usually at 3 o'clock, I'm at work. And if I'm not, I'm probably in trouble. So with that said, I'm not understanding why the Traffic Commission sees that it's okay to have a meeting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a time that, if you ask me, would clearly demonstrate that they have no interest in working hand in hand with the residents in addressing the issues that we're having here, such as the ones on Michelle Street. Several people attended that meeting, and of course they were told yet again that the person who I believe is the traffic engineer indicated that vehicles go airborne. They're not a proponent of it. They would consider cul-de-sacing the street at Glendora, which I've already been told is never in a million years going to happen because the streets north and south of us are already cul-de-saced. So that brings me to this. We get into the habit as people of saying that we do the same thing all the time, and the excuse is we've always done it that way. So my question to the council is this. If when you got elected to your position and all the ideas that you had and all the proof that you had that those particular ideas work, you were told you were not allowed to implement any of those ideas.
Excuse me, are you almost done, sir?
I'm sorry?
Are you almost done?
Absolutely,
Okay.
about 10 more seconds.
I'll let you finish.
Thank you. How would you feel if somebody told you that all the ideas that you bring to the council and to the city of West Covina, you were not allowed to do that because we've always done things the same way? We're doing things the same way right now. That needs to stop. We have an issue on Michelle Street. We need it addressed. We're getting no help from the traffic committee, so therefore I want to go on record as coming here and asking you for whatever assistance you guys can offer, please do. And we will be receptive of that. And lastly, we do have speed bumps in the city of West Covina. We do have speed humps there, and I do have the street. I'll be at the next meeting and show you a map of where they're at.
Thank you, sir.
Henry Ruiz.
First of all, excuse me, Mr. Mayor and City Council, thank you for your service. First of all, this seats is difficult to egress. There may be even now a impediment to the regulations of the fire department. I don't know, but they're hard to get in and out. Anyway, and there's a lot of room over here. Also, I understand that West Covina has let go a lot of people because of funds. And so one way to increase funds coming in is to make it easier for businesses to establish here. President Kennedy did that. Money came into the government because by making it easier for business to establish themselves, more money came into the government. And of course, because more people worked. Also, as another example, after that, Governor Reagan did the same thing. The government of California had all the money it wanted and had, at that time, $2 or $3 billion left over. And of course, why? Because people got work because of the tax drop. That means businesses had more money to advance, to expand, or to increase their ability to produce. Therefore, they needed more people. So most people paid more taxes. And as I said, it left, I think it was about between $2 and $3 billion unspent. And so, like, you can think about that. And I think that it's this time we can thank Jesus Christ that we can still address our governments. Thank you.
After Bill Elliott, I'd like to call up Colleen Rosati, followed by Gail Mason and Jefferson Devereaux.
Good evening, City Council, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Welcome to the new interim city manager. I hope he is a good steward of the position until we can find the new city manager is appropriate. A lot of new faces, hardly recognize anybody. Maybe that's a good thing. You know, I was listening to the gentleman talk about traffic studies, a traffic engineer and all that. You know, I live off of Lark Ellen and Merced, and there's Merced Elementary Schools right there. And Councilperson Shoemaker, I don't know if you are aware of this, but, you know, we have one of the only LED lit crosswalks in the area, really. I think maybe there might be more, but I've always been really proud of that crosswalk because it stops traffic. My wife and I walk at night sometimes, and I want to wait till the cars come in. And when I hit that button, brake lights immediately. Only one light is flashing now. All the rest of them are out as you're traveling westbound. I don't know about the other way, but I don't know. I know we lost a lot of maintenance people. I don't know if that's a school district issue. Maybe you guys can figure that out. And hopefully we can get that replaced because that is such a big deal. And I really wish we could expand those LED lighted crosswalks throughout the city and all the school zones. Every school zone, especially elementary and junior high, deserve those. Even though a lot of parents ignore the paid crossing guard that's right there to help their kids across the street, they dart across traffic. I see people making full-on U-turns from the far lane to the other lane, and my favorite sound in the morning on school days is police sirens in the school zone, because that's a big ticket. You have to act responsible in a school zone, and you know we don't want any kids hurt. And we don't have any kids in that school, but there's a lot of people dropping off kids. So anything you can do in that regard, I appreciate it. You know, my heart's heavy tonight over Mike Spence. You know, I'll never walk in this chamber again without thinking of him. His big laugh, his big smile, his cutting sarcasm. You know, one night I was in the city council chambers. I really didn't know Mike that much. He was new on the council. And he was talking to the old city attorney, Stephanie Barlow, hyphenated something, whatever her name was. And he asked her a question directly. And she went on this big, long rant and gave him an answer to a question he didn't even ask. And when she finished, he said, "It's not what I asked you." And I said, "I like this guy, man." Mike Spence was really kind of larger than life in West Covina. Eagle Scout at 14. I mean, that's a huge undertaking all by itself for a 14-year-old. Mike Spence was my friend. You know, I will miss him. And I want to thank him tonight for all he did for the cause of honoring the Constitution in West Covina. You know, a really wise person said a long time ago, all politics are local, and it's true. And Mike Spence certainly took that to heart in supporting the Constitution and the Second Amendment and the right of self-protection, the God-given right of self-protection that is only affirmed in the Constitution in the Second Amendment, to remind tyrants of the future to not mess with the Second Amendment. People have the right to defend themselves, and Mike understood that. And when Mike supported that, it just gave me momentum, and I really appreciate his love and support on that issue. And my heart's heavy for his family tonight, his children. And Mike Spence loved West Covina, and you know he was an imperfect man, like we're all imperfect. And I know that he loved his family. I know that Mike Spence adored his children. And I'm pretty sure tonight that he's sitting on the right hand of God and Ronald Reagan. Thank you.
Good evening. Colleen Rosati, elected city treasurer and president of West Covina. Beautiful to hear. First of all, my deepest sympathy to the Spence family from the Rosatis. Ashley was one of Mike's commissioners, and I know she valued his friendship and really respected him as a council member. What I want to talk about is Earth Day, an Arbor Day celebration that's coming up. West Covina Beautiful has done this for a very long time. This year we will be at Cortez Park on Saturday, April 27th. Festivities begin at 9. The annual tree planting ceremony will be at 11, and it'll conclude about 1. There'll be environmental activities. There'll be Sparky the dog, some vendors. There's free paper shredding. This year, we're fortunate enough to be able to plant 4 trees that were needing repair at Cortez Park, and we'll be honoring Mario Del Fonte, a business owner here in West Covina who owned Del Fonte Florist. Attorney Robert M. Ebner, that was here for many years. I know he was my parents' attorney. Former mayor and congressman of West Covina is Jim Lloyd, and a firefighter captain of West Covina Fire Department, Bob Tannehill. So we hope you all come out and join us on the 27th of April at Cortez Park. And if you have any questions, you can contact me or Susie Perez. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Gail Mason, a longtime resident, a commissioner here in West Covina, and I came to talk about Mike Spence. He was a dear friend. He helped me understand problems that was going on in the city or in the state. He had the words to explain what was going on so that I would understand. He represented all 107,000 of us. He wasn't District 2, he wasn't a Republican, he wasn't a conservative. He wasn't anything. He was a West Covinan person. He wanted West Covina to be the best that it could. And I really appreciated that of him. When I remember when I had him at a meeting a year and a half ago, and Fred Sykes came, and I thought, oh boy, there's going to be fire here. They never argued. I mean, he never spoke ill of anybody. He just told them what he felt. And he, you know what, he understood where they were coming from, and he appreciated it, but he never, ever, ever spoke bad of anyone. And I couldn't believe that, because I'd get mad sometimes, and I'd want to say something, and he would just look at me like, let it go, let it go. It's not that important. And I really felt like I had to say something about him. Now, after he died, I was feeling really bad, and I knew I had a quote somewhere in my books, because I appreciate quotes because I can't come up with any good ones for myself. And this is the one that I found. It's from Ralph Waldo Emerson. You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. And I think we all really need to realize that. Thank you.
Last speaker is JD.
Good evening. Diddles to everything about Mike. He'll be missed. I rise to oppose the idea of hiring a consultant. That's been a recurring, costly issue for West Covina, and it needs to be scrutinized a bit. To hire a consultant to train a department head to do the job that he was hired for is tantamount to someone going out and filling a vacancy for a typist and then approaching the boss and saying, I need an additional $10,000 to train her to type. I can't wrap my head around that. That's kind of silly. I hear he's a fine gentleman and intelligent, but who hired him? I guess your predecessor may have had something to do with that. A certain city council has the responsibility and carries some accountability here. There's some questions that I like to have answered as a resident. If you're going to spend $100,000 of my tax dollars to pay for this consultant, how long will he be around to assist in the budget process? What are we getting in regards to the training for this new department head? I believe it was Bill Robinson that came up here and said that department heads should report to council. Well, I think that's a bad idea. Because you see, managers are tasked with ensuring that things are done right. Policies and procedures are followed. Budget constraints are met. Residents are timely notified of their trash service not providing the service that's expected. That's the role of a manager. But leaders, which is what I consider political appointees, need to do the right thing, not just have it done right. So I ask you tonight, and I'm not sure, but I thought I heard the city manager, the appointed city manager, say that he was taking this off the agenda. So maybe this is fruitless, but I ask you that you do the right thing and take a minute and ask some hard questions as to why we have to spend $100,000, which is penny to the city, but considering the budget problems that we find ourselves in, I don't see it actually meeting the objective of training this department head, which is going to be the lead in terms of our budget process, in such a short period of time for $100,000. It's a lot of money, but relatively speaking, it's pennies in a bucket. You needed to have hired the right person, and this is no reflection on this gentleman. I'm sure he's as intelligent as they say he is, and as nice of a fellow as they say. But that doesn't excuse the fact that City Council and our previous city manager hired someone that was not a right fit for the challenge that the city will be confronting in a very short and fast track relatively soon. Thank you for listening.
That completes our speakers.
Mr. City Manager, do you have any comments on anything that was said on oral communication?
I've been listening very carefully. I don't believe I have any response.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, just one, if I may. The gentleman that was talking about the speed humps, I met this morning with the chief of police and the traffic engineer, and we were talking about this request, maybe behind your back. But we'll follow up with you directly because we think we have some fruitful and constructive suggestions that might help us address this problem. And I think that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Can you check the LED, the cross light? Okay, they say it's not working. Yeah, did you?
Certainly will.
Okay.
I believe we actually approved a couple meetings ago the money to repair them.
Problem solved.
Okay, that'd be the end of our oral communication. Now we should move to our consent calendar. I know I spoke to the council members and Mayor Pro Tem. Would like to pull number 4, number 7, and number 10 off.
And number 9 too.
And number 9 for discussion. Okay, that's 4 out of the 10 that we have. Do we have anybody else? Do we have a motion to accept the rest of the?
And we have recorded that we are removing 1 and 5 from the agenda.
Yes, it's been removed from 1 and 5. So that
And then I'll
only.
move it as amended.
Okay, with that
I'll
we have a
second.
motion. We have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado? Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye. 5-0. Okay, now we shall move to item number 4, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I have no problems, okay, regarding this item to, okay, we lower the fee from $1 to 50 cents. But I checked, okay, basically, it's not going to hit our general fund, right? Look like we have to, so why 50 cents? Okay, I don't know who carry the coin 50 cents, and for senior citizen, the resident to come in, try to get 50 cents and $1 to get a change. So or to get a ticket, something they can get this thing. Or how about, okay, disability including, okay, Phil talking about the person should be included if they are disabled, so we can maybe including them too. I think this is something we want to encourage more of our residents to utilize, okay, this service to go to see doctors, go to, okay, supermarket or something. So we need to utilize that. But why 50 cents? How about, can we do it maybe free? Okay, can we afford that? Okay, rather than charge people 50 cents, can we afford it to anytime a senior resident, they qualify, they call a service, we don't have to charge them 50 cents. Why we have to charge 50 cents if we lower from $1 50 cents, since we're not going to hit on our general fund? This money coming from major R's and major H money, majors M money.
Mayor, if I may. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is concerning agenda item number 4, which relates to the setting of the fees for the city's dial-a-ride and shuttle program. The council's options in this area are really myriad, and it's truly a council decision, but I'd like to provide just some brief facts about this. This is a program which is now set up and getting good utilization, annual ridership just north of 63,000 rides a year. It's funded primarily by external funds, not general funds. There's always alphabet soup in these programs, but it's, not general fund is probably the most pertinent fact. I think it's important to look at total cost, which for the year we're discussing tonight, the data was fiscal 17-18. But on total cost of just north of $1 million, about $1,020,000, the fare box return between these two programs, the Dial-A-Ride and the shuttle, is about $59,000. A rule of thumb you might want to consider as you discuss this is that the federal standard for fare box return would be about 10%. So we're already low, and I guess the question is, where would you like to price this? Could you price it at zero? I assume so. I'd like to confirm that before you go there, if that's your direction. But we're completely comfortable with the direction, and this item returns at the request of Councilmember Shoemaker. We're completely comfortable tonight recommending a 50 cent, and we await your direction.
So your point is possible we can go to zero and they're not going to hit on any general fund or any issue. We still can cover by the measures, measure R money and Prop C. So meaning that can cover the fare so that our senior resident and the disabled can be qualified to Dial-A-Ride.
If I may, if that's your direction, I'd like to confirm that with the funding agencies. And obviously, we need to be protective of the general fund because this budget year is going to be special.
Exactly. I want to make sure they're not going to hit our general fund. Okay, I just want to make sure, that people can utilize, and we lower from $1 to 50 cents. Okay, what I mean is, right now you drop at $1, people don't even pick it up. So why 50 cents? Why, have to charge them if this can cover by the Prop C and major R money, so we can have a senior or those people can utilize this service.
I understand.
Yeah, but again, it's not going to hit on our general fund. That's the most important thing.
Another option might be if you want to set it at 50 cents, we could do that tonight and we could study that question that you've raised further.
I would like to say, I don't have a problem with the 50 cents. I think that's a good compromise from $1 to 50 cents. And I think almost anybody can afford 50 cents. And I understand what's the 50 cents, it's a change, stuff like that. So, but, I don't have a problem with it. So if there's nothing, I'd like to make a motion to okay item number 4.
And another thing is, why we change from $1 to 50 cents? Why we still keep the $1? Okay, if it's not so pricey. $1. I don't think people will. My point is this. Why we lower to 50 cents? Why we lower to zero? Either keep $1 or zero. Why we have to nitpicking to 50 cents? And that's my point. I have no problem to lower this. I just want to see convenient for the people to utilize, but at the same time, you don't have to carry a bunch of change. So $1 is really a pretty cheap fare. But if that is become an issue, why not we lower to zero if they're covered by Prop C or Major R?
I understand.
I will second the motion, and thank you to staff for bringing this item back. I think it's important to lower the rates for our seniors. I am happy that it is not impacting our general fund, but understanding that it is still coming out of funds. So there is a difference between $0 and even a nominal amount that the city will recover for the cost of this service. I mean, if you want to talk about people don't carry change, then let's talk to our drivers about the fact that people could buy 2 at a time for $1. And most people probably want to buy there and back because these are one-way tickets to begin with. And it's a 50% decrease for seniors. And what was expressed to us from the community is that some seniors are making multiple trips a day, so that 50 cents does add up. I have no problem at all and would also join in the request to bring this back and discuss adding disabled to it. My other thought is I know there are a lot of students that use this program, and to maybe discuss offering discounts to students who already receive free and reduced lunches in the school districts and how that might work before we decide to just go zero. Let's see how far we can take in applying discounts to those that most need it in our community.
I understand.
Anybody else? So we want to, I made a motion in a second, but do we want to bring it back later at another time to add to it? Just approve this and later on. Okay. We have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado? Aye. Councilmember Shoemaker? Aye. Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Nope.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye. Passes 4-1. And now we shall move to item number 7. Mayor Pro Tem Wu.
Okay, I think this is a question we're getting. I know we don't have staff. I think Monica quit, so we don't have any engineer currently. Am I right? So we need to have outside contract engineer. But again, I've been talking about consultant. That's something I'm very worried. Do we get a fair charge? So I want to make sure the city pay and they get a proper service. We don't want to get gouged. So I don't know, this 50,000, this is going to come to our general fund. And I know we don't have a staff, so we save the money over there. We have to hire outside service. So I don't know how reputable the company would be using it. So I don't make sure so our city don't get shortchanged.
Through the chair, if I may just provide a brief report to answer that question. Agenda item 7 this evening relates to the contract city engineering services, and the council is being asked to consider a contract amendment for these services. It's, I think, important as the city thinks about the services that it provides that council consider all options in service provision. Having an in-house city engineer is certainly terrific. It's also terrifically expensive. And so most cities in California have looked at this option, and it's one that I think has merit. In this case, it's logical to provide these services through a private contract because we just don't have staff to do it. We're not asking for a budget amendment because of the vacancy. There's sufficient money in the budget. And I think to the point that I heard perhaps a citizen raise earlier, it is indeed true that we need to shop these services regularly, and this is a service that is going back out to bid and will soon be in front of the council. Gives the consultants all an opportunity to bid on it and to sharpen their pencil and compete for city service.
So basically, this is just a budget for $50,000. It's outsourcing for engineer service. And you still within the RP, and then we can find somebody reputable and makes sense for their charge.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comment? Number 7. Do we have a motion?
Move the motion to approve.
I'll second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado? Aye. Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye. Passes 5-0. Now we go to item number 9, and that's also Mayor Pro Tem Wu.
Yeah, and this same issue regarding $50,000 of service charge. So maybe you can explain to us, what this is about again.
Through the chair, this agenda item is perhaps a different stanza of the same song. Relates to a different type of service. In this case, contract building and safety services. Again, the council is being asked to consider approval of an amendment to the contract as this service was previously provided in-house. Just to give you some context in terms of the cost of these services versus the revenue, on the building and safety in your adopted budget for the current fiscal year, on revenues of about $1.2 million, you're spending about $600,000, and so the city's doing pretty well in this area. It's another service where we've got a provider here which is competent and doing a good job, and it's another service where we've put these things on a schedule to put them out to bid to make sure that the city's getting competitive prices, and that'll return to you at a later time. But for tonight, we're asking for a contract amendment.
So basically, it's a building inspection for the permits, to check the building, et cetera, et cetera?
Yes.
I remember before we have about 3 or 4 inspectors running around checking, and I know some of them retired, some of them they quit, and so we got right now, how many left? We have the inspector?
I apologize. I'm going to have to ask staff. I don't remember.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. It's not inspection services. Our inspectors are still there. It's our building official that left, and so it's building services and plan check services and some grading inspection services because we don't have grading inspection because of the loss of Monica.
Monica is engineer, right?
Correct.
Okay, so, but we already approved the $50,000
Yeah.
engineer?
So
And this is for planning, but you already hired 3 staff, as I remember, but so why we need
Oh,
another?
no, this isn't for planning, this is for building.
This is for building, okay. Okay, so you have a plan check, okay, so we already have a staff.
Correct.
And this is for the building, okay,
Official.
the engineer check, and so you also seen due to we lost Monica.
And Long Tang, if you
Long
recall.
Tan is a inspector, okay, he checked property before.
Well, his inspection was part of it, but he was mainly the building inspector, building official and plan checker.
So we haven't filled the position yet, so we go outsourcing.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, do we have a motion then?
Move to approve, please.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. A roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye, passes 5-0. And now item number 10, and that's also by Mayor Pro Tem Wu.
Okay, and I think this is the one, okay, the $100,000 regarding the, okay, and this, okay, consultant for land. And I understand we hired the new, okay, director of finance director. So why we need $100,000? I know she just on duty for 1 week, and so she need to get into. But again, she's a professional. She can, okay, work long hours. Okay, so we can save $100,000. Okay, so anyway, maybe you can explain to us why we need this $100,000. I saw the breakdown. Okay, you need to hire 2 consultants with our fees, $160, so meaning $80 per person per hour. Okay, so this is what the breakdown is. But why we need it? My understanding, we already have this 26 years. But by the way, welcome, okay, to join our big family. I hope I'm not too harsh on you. Okay, I want you to work overtime, but no overtime pay for you. Just work overtime. Okay, so my point is, okay, and you are very reputable and experienced finance directors again, and we have a Todd. Okay, he is accounting manager. So it looks like we in the good hand with very good people. So why we still need to spend this budget? Okay, and will they hit our budget for currently our situation?
Mr. Mayor, if I may. Yes, agenda item 10 tonight relates to the Finance Department and especially to preparation of the 1920 municipal budget. In a moment, I'll introduce the city's new finance director, Robin Bird, but I'd like to just briefly introduce this item and give some brief context for the council. In this agenda item tonight, in tonight's report, council is being asked to consider amendment of the professional service agreement with certified public accountants, Vavrinick, Trine, and Day. I'd like to emphasize that I've known the partners of this firm and the principals assigned from this firm to work for the city for many years, and I trust their expertise and their integrity. The main point I want to make is this. The city staff right now is in the middle of preparing the annual budget, which begins July 1st. In my world, that's like tomorrow. I believe I shared with the council earlier today a copy of the city's budget calendar. As of today, as of this moment, we're about 5 weeks behind schedule. So we've got to move really quickly, and we've got to stay focused. The city's finance department, the people that work there are first rate, but we need additional help. The process of assembling accurate data is critical, as the council will really require and depend upon good data as the basis of determining your spending priorities for the coming budget year. I'll ask Robin now to review the staffing and the scope of work, and then the team will be available for questions.
Thank you, City Manager Carmody, Mayor, and members of the council. Currently, in the Finance Department, we have 11 full-time employees, and we have 1 part-time intern. So I have 1 person that covers the front counter. That's anybody walking through the door with payments and helping those customers. I have a management analyst who is very new to the budget process. She took over for another staff member that was very seasoned in doing the budget, so she's learning as she goes. And then I have an admin assistant. There's me, the finance director. We have a vacancy That's a management analyst 2. I don't know if that was still funded or not. I haven't even had a chance to look into that. Then we have our accounting manager. He oversees the payroll process and the management analyst. And we have 2 payroll people. We have approximately 400 full-time and part-time employees in the city that they process payroll for every 2 weeks. And we have 2 accountants. One recently was promoted. I know it was recent. I'm not sure how long ago. But so we have her as a brand new person fulfilling that role, and that's part of what Vavrinick Trinan Day is helping her get up to speed. And then, like I said, we have our intern, we have an accounts payable person, and our purchasing manager who reviews the AP and all the purchasing and the contracts and the people up at the front counter. We right now, like city manager just said, are about 5 weeks behind in processing this budget. I'm pulling together every available resource I have, plus we still need to get the day-to-day operations done. And I have very green staff that are very capable people, but they're learning. So it's a challenge. But like I said, I'm pulling all these people together. I need the extra help to get it done. The one person who has been here helping prepare the budget this year, he's got, he's working with all of the staff and making sure all of the things get done, and we want to very much get you reliable numbers for this budget year. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So basically, you have 11 staff, okay, and doing the payroll, doing the finance, accountant for entire city, okay, and now we have to do the budget. But my point is we're going to, okay, hire 2 person. Okay, and for how long? And why the budget is $100,000? I know I got this breakdown over here. Okay, it's $160 fee. Okay, fees. Okay, 2 person you hire. Okay, to just do the budget thing. And then my question would be, what will be our future? Okay, our future. Are we continue to using this kind of thing every time, every year, next year? I prefer that we can have a 6 months plan, 1 year plan, 3 years plan, 5 year plan. Okay, we have a plan that we're going to have our staff that we hired to do the job. Okay, and to collect each department, give us about expenditure and the income. So we have all the record continuously. So in that way, even people in and out, we just have we have somebody coming in, not always like the previous 3 years. I feel it's always consultant coming in, and it's always kind of we cannot balance the budget. I hope with the new team coming in, we need to change the way we need to have a system that will be continuously, and the number will continue. Just like you hire a CPA, you cannot have a number changing all the time. You must have for every year the number should be continue, right? Am I right? So in that way, the staffing, okay, need to be consistent. And I don't know how needed, okay, these 2 consultants and spend $100,000, okay, and to get a budget.
And I failed to say we will only use those resources as we need them right now. We may end up not spending a whole, the entire $100,000, but to complete this budget right now, I need that help.
So basically, this is a budget, okay, to 2 consultants coming in to help you for 2019, 2020 budget, okay, and next year, hopefully, okay, we're not going to utilize this kind of, okay, expenditure.
That's correct.
Okay, it's only for this year because you just hired a week ago, and you only, 2 weeks? Okay, so you'll go kind of dragging into this mess, but welcome. Okay, so thank you.
Is there any? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem Wu for bringing that up. And it's part of the process. If we could, I know we're behind, as we've said, but if we could utilize this process to help identify where we could do better, can we incorporate that? Because I know that there's been some things we've identified, and I think it's the time to look at that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye. Passes 5-0. That's the end of the consent calendar. Next is a Department Regular Matters as a possession regarding shopping cart containment. Who shall give this report for us?
We're going to let Director Anderson field this one.
Yes, thank you. So this is a shopping cart containment discussion. I call it Shopping Carts 101. So this is the first time I believe that we've had this discussion at council level. Concerns were raised, or concerns have been raised on shopping carts abandoned throughout the city in numerous places and times. On October 2nd, 2018, the City Council directed staff to prepare a report on the background and discussion on potential shopping cart regulations. So that was before the previous council was sitting, but some of you are still on, and some of you, I think, may remember that. California law regulates shopping and laundry carts and makes it unlawful for someone to remove carts from the premises where the shopping cart has a sign that identifies the owner. That violation would be a misdemeanor. Because state law does not require shopping cart owners to place signs on carts, many cities have adopted ordinances requiring signs on carts and the management of carts. And according to our city attorney's office, who did a lot of the legwork on this report, approximately 120 jurisdictions in California have such regulations. City of West Covina does not currently have an ordinance addressing shopping carts. The following are issues to consider regarding shopping cart regulations. So I'll be covering each one of these. Cooperation of businesses with shopping carts, cart containment plans, and retrieval company issues. So first of all, in cooperation of businesses with shopping carts. If the City Council is interested in enacting a shopping cart ordinance, staff should initially communicate with the business owners that have shopping carts, because they're going to be key to making it work. Regulations will be more effective if we receive cooperation from the businesses that use shopping carts. And if it is decided to create an ordinance, it would be appropriate for the staff to create a list of stores in the city that utilize shopping carts and use that list for outreach and to provide notice as the ordinance would progress through the system. Second, cart containment plans. An ordinance would likely require a cart containment plan to be submitted to the city from each one of those stores that has carts. It would be recommended that there be no charge to review and approve each plan. The city may recover actual costs incurred in impounding the shopping cart pursuant to state law. So we already have that. We can do that now with state law. In addition, the owner of a shopping cart may also be subject to a fine in the maximum amount allowed by state law for failure to retrieve identified carts. Each occurrence in excess of 3 during any 6-month period is subject to a fine, and an occurrence includes all identified carts impounded by the city in a 1-day period. Secondly, on cart containment plans, a cart containment plan outlines how the following would be addressed. Signage stating unauthorized cart removal is illegal. Have methods to prevent cart removal, retrieval within 24 hours of notification, and a plan to secure carts after business hours. And you can see those are all generally those requirements on the businesses. That wouldn't be a city requirement. Those would be the businesses would have to cooperate with us and work with us to set those up. Retrieval company issues. It should be noted that a shopping cart ordinance will not eliminate the problem with abandoned shopping carts in the city altogether. Contracts with a retrieval company usually are for once a week, once every 2 weeks, or as reported. In other words, if they get a report, they go pick them up. If the problem is prevalent, that is not enough time for a company to collect all the shopping carts at any given time. The city does currently have a contract with a cart retrieval company. If abandoned shopping carts have personal effects in them, as occurs in many cases, the retrieval company will not collect the carts. In those instances, the Community Development Department, Public Services, and Code Enforcement staff would work with the police department to determine if the shopping carts can be retrieved and how to take care of the belongings. So in conclusion, options before the City Council tonight. direct staff to prepare a shopping cart ordinance and communicate with store owners or stores with shopping carts, or determine not to prepare a shopping cart ordinance, or direct staff to engage with businesses and seek voluntary compliance with respect to cart retrieval. I think there's another option, which would be ask questions and allow us to go out and get more information. And that would conclude staff's presentation. The city attorney is here to answer some of the questions, especially the legal questions, and I can try to answer some process questions if there are questions on if you want to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Jeff, for that presentation. I do have some input. I've been looking into this, and I've got an attorney who's helped me look at ordinances from other local cities, so I could forward that to you and provide you what I've already obtained. And I don't know if we, well, maybe, I don't know if we should mix this in, probably a separate issue, but kind of hand in hand with this problem, maybe considering requiring businesses to keep their trash enclosures locked. Well, maybe I'll bring that up under council requests. Maybe that's separate from this. But anyway, for the shopping cart ordinance, I could get you at least a starting point. Thank you.
Anyone else? No, my question is that if we can get an ordinance where, like it says, it's illegal to remove shopping carts from a business right now. So why isn't it legal that if we see an abandoned cart on the street, and even if it has somebody's property in it, they say homeless, take the property out and leave it there and take the shopping cart and return it? Why can't even a resident do that? I'm just saying they're not stealing the property, but if the cart's illegally stolen from the place in the first place, and we have all these abandoned carts out there, why can't something be done about that? That's the thing that we need to look into also. If the cart has the name of the business on it, if they attach them to the carts like that, and then it's out away from the business somewhere, why is it illegal to take that cart? You might not take the property, you leave the property there, but take the cart. If we can do away with a lot of the carts from the homeless, we can actually clean up the city quite a bit with that. That's just, Mr. City Attorney, you have any? I see you nodding your head a little bit.
No, you're absolutely right. I had that exact same conversation with one of my staff earlier today. I said, why don't we just do exactly that? And so we've had discussions along those lines. That's certainly something we could look into. You would just, before any cart is removed, you would just need, obviously, to make sure that those removal requirements, as long as the cart includes all the legally required information, then you can remove the cart, provided there's sufficient notice.
Thank you. Any other questions? Council Member Shoemaker.
You mentioned that we currently have a contract with the shopping cart company. What is the status of that contract? What are they doing, and how do we pay?
Well, I don't know all the details because I just found that out today myself. Okay. But we do have a company that's that the maintenance yard uses, and my understanding is they go out once a week and on call. So if they get a report of one, they go out and look at it, and I believe there's a contract.
Mr. Mayor, Council, to piggyback on the comments by Jeff, so the issue that we have with the company is that if they're not being paid by the actual shopping centers who have carts, then they don't end up going to retrieve them. It's not worth their time. So this is the battle that we're fighting. So we're addressing that. So at the end of the day, really it ends up being the maintenance workers that go and pick up the carts that are empty.
Okay, then I would move that we prepare an ordinance, and we also go out for a company to do cart removal at the same time.
That's a motion. She made a motion. We have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's have a roll call, please.
Councilman Castellanos?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lopez Viado?
Aye.
Councilmember Shoemaker?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wu?
Aye.
Mayor Johnson?
Aye. Passes 5-0. Okay, that's the end of that. Now, do we have any AB 1234 conference or meetings anyway? Councilwoman's report? Not seeing none. Do we have any council's last comments?
Just what I mentioned during our shopping cart discussion. If we could have staff look into if it would be feasible to have an ordinance that requires trash enclosures to be locked, I think that would help our city in many ways. Thank you.
Seeing no other comments, we are adjourned.